The other day, this seems like a half-hearted thing that they're doing, but everybody's like, okay, OPEC needs to cut production in order to get oil prices up, da-da-da-da-da. And I didn't think this was an option, but apparently it is. So Saudi Arabia called up Russia, and they agreed to a production freeze at elevated production levels or something. Can somebody explain that to me?
Yeah, that's basically it. The two, Saudi Arabia and Russia, the two largest oil producers in the world.
They're both at just over 10 million barrels or something.
Somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
Have said that they are willing to freeze their current output at these levels in order to help kind of spur along the recovery. However, it's also contingent that everybody else plays along. So they're saying, hey, we'll do it as long as Iran and Iraq and everybody else gets on board with it. But
which seems unlikely to me.
Which seems like most of them are saying, hey, we love the idea of you guys freezing output, but you know what? We still want to bring on more production because we want more money. So it always just seems like kind of a non-starter, at least from a long-term investor's perspective. These are just kind of those things that when they happen, we have like a 5% jump in oil prices, immediately following because everybody got excited. It's like, oh, oil's back, baby. Well, guess what? And next day it happens, and it doesn't happen because people want to keep producing, and
It just seemed weird that they were gonna really quick just before we move on. It just seems weird that they were willing to freeze production at current levels. And if memory serves, Saudi Arabia is over 10 million barrels a day, like 10.1, 10.2. And even in summer 2014, before all this happened, they were at like 9.6 if memory.
Well, that's the thing. Why care about freezing when you're producing at record levels? Yeah. Russia produced an all-time high in 2015.
Yeah.
So they're like, sure, we'll freeze because we probably can't produce that much more.
We can't go any higher.
Their currency's down like over 30% to start the year. The government's strapped for cash, so these companies have no backing right now.
It's kind of absurd.
And they raised debt in 2015 just to stay afloat and keep producing oil. So Russia, I think, instituted this freeze out of because there's nothing else they can do.
Nothing else to do.
It's just like, hey, maybe if we say we're going to freeze it, prices will jump. Because we're freezing it anyways out of necessity, not out of desire.
So Iran came out and said they like this idea, like Tyler was mentioning, but they basically were just like, yeah, but we're not going to freeze production. But don't they kind of have a point because they're trying desperately this year to get to like 500,000 barrels a day? But before, in 2011 or 12 or whatever, before all the embargo stuff and all that those niceties, they were at like 3 or 4 million barrels a day or something.
Yeah, they're a little ways off from where they used to be.
Yeah, and that's their goal, and they kind of.
But at the same time,
I'm not saying I like them or anything, but don't they kind of have a point there?
They might, but at the same time, do you really want to ramp up and spend a whole lot of money when oil's at $30 a barrel?
Tens of billions of dollars to ramp up production again. Yeah. They need a lot of investment. So cool.